Right, athletes, your arrows are up. You have a full set of pins. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a great send-off of round one of the PWBA St. Petersburg-Clearwater Open. Ladies, please press the red key and you'll be set to go. Good luck, everyone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida. Neil Williams Jr. here with you this week. Big thanks to my main man, Matt Cannizzaro, holding the fort down while I was away from Orlando last week. Fantastic job. Had a chance to listen in, which is very rare for me, of course, when obviously I'm here all the time. So it was cool to get a chance to watch, listen, and learn some things, actually. St. Petersburg-Clearwater Open. That is this week's event, the 10th on the schedule of the PWBA Tour. Pardon me, again, the 10th event on the PWBA Tour schedule here in 2017. Featured pairs this week, or at least during qualifying, will be 35 and 36, along with 37 and 38. Tomorrow we will have 39 and 40. We'll have the cashers round and match play, and of course the group step ladder finals. Our featured players here in game number one include Brandy Stevens, Danielle Vandermeer and Kayla Bandy. 37 and 38, Nicole Bauer. Tanya Raumenper and Rocio Restrepo. Big thanks to all of the staff here at Seminole Lanes. Kraus family, Corey here, doing a heck of a job, making sure everyone is good and taken care of. Last week in Orlando, to give you a brief synopsis of what took place, obviously even though I wasn't there, but if you had a chance and hadn't read on the PWBA website, pwba.com, all of what took place last week, be sure to revisit that. There's also a pretty cool story about Leanne Holsenberg and her ideals, of course, on the tour. She is continuing on, building some momentum, as wonderfully written by the aforementioned Matt Cannizzaro. But in regards to last week, very good event at Boardwalk Bowl. Thanks to Kendra Gaines, the GM there, who is also competing this week here in St. Petersburg. Last week we had some familiar faces, if you will, make the show, of course. And some new ones, actually. They've all made TV. Buttigieg Poplar led the field. Of course, 5,000 miles away from home in Germany. And she was the #1 seed and will be the top seed for the TV finals of the PWBA Orlando Open. Went 6-0 last week in match play to top the Group A standings. She was followed by Danielle McEwen, who had to battle Kelly Kulick in the position round to earn that automatic spot onto television, and it was Danielle who got the position round win, and of course gaining the #2 seed in the process. Liz Johnson, no surprise there, has made now 7 TV finals she is qualified for out of 9 total events, of course, not including this week. And Stephanie Johnson, heck of a story. Steph had her second child along with husband Chris Johnson in March. Kenzie Rose, their daughter. A few months, of course, to recoup, relax, get ready for a few events this season. First one out the gate in a very familiar place, of course, Boardwalk. Former Central Florida Knight, spent many a day practicing and working at the facility. Makes the show, and then we'll have the finals, of course, be at her current home center, which is Plano Super Bowl, host of the U.S. Women's Open here in 2017. The only thing better about that potential script is, of course, Steph goes on ahead and wins the event. That would be Hollywood-esque, if you will. So again, check that out. If you'd like to get a refresher on last week's results and standings, you can visit pwba.com. Click on news to read the story. Click on schedule, of course, to get all of the results you need. This week, again, just underway, game #1. I always love the panoramic pics now when you post them on Facebook. It is pretty cool to be able to kind of do the 3D view, if you will, and slide left, slide right, and check it out in that regard. Of course, much has been talked about and is generally discussed in the 2017 PWBA Tour. Popular question revolves around the lane conditions. This week, 40 feet, 28.117 milliliters of oil, fire, and ice are used here. Of course, the official lane maintenance provider, USBC, and the PWBA Tour, Kegel. Laying down the pattern here. Those numbers, of course, don't really do it justice. I encourage you to check out the graph at pwba.com/live. Again, pwba.com/live. And you will get an idea, or maybe you'll get an idea, of course, of what you may expect to see actually take place on the lanes based on the graph. Talked to a couple folks, grab their opinions. Many don't anticipate players, especially if you're right-handed, having to get in, if you will, perhaps not this block, and maybe even during the burn squad as well. There is a burn squad, no re-oil this week here at the St. Petersburg-Clearwater Open. Some expect it to be high scoring. So we certainly shall see how things unfold here. See some surface going down the lane early. You see what that looks like at in game 7 and 8 this afternoon, or excuse me, this evening. How much damage will be done to the heads, front part of the lane. You see Restrepo, Rocio on a double. Rocio, of course, the defending champion. We start the event with a defending champion on the featured pairs here. Rocio defeated Lindsey Boomershine last year. Lindsey also in the field this week after taking a week off in Orlando. Heck of a run at the Players Championship, sponsored by GoBowling.com. Led the first couple of days, made the TV show, and ultimately finished third. The number 2 seed for television. Losing to Liz Johnson, who won the title and won her ninth career major title. There is Tanya. Continue to watch the improvement of Tanya. That was a heck of a shot there. And Stone's a 9-pin early here in game number 1, 7th frame for 37 and 38. Nicole Bauer. Pretty decent start there for all three players. Same thing can be said here on 35 and 36. Amber Vega missed a single pin in the 4th frame. Otherwise, she'd be perfect right now. Gets one in. 3, 6, 9, 10. She's to the left of our screen. Anna Gross now with 5 in a row after starting 9 spare. She is on, I believe, 31 and 32. I want to thank all of our viewers for watching. Those who will stop by, those who will watch no matter what, those who may be watching for the first time. If that is indeed the case, certainly say thank you. Welcome to Bowl TV on Extra Frame. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Jason Thomas is in the building. On behalf of the entire PWBA staff, Neil Milligan, our Director of Operations, Kathy Waka, our Assistant Tournament Director, Kathy Kavicki, Tour Coordinator and On-Site Merchandise Manager, and all of our staff who are not on-site. We all appreciate your viewership. Had a PWBA show air this week on Tuesday. I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday festivities, the weekend that preceded the Tuesday holiday, 4th of July, Independence Day. Congratulations to CT Rahman from Malaysia, who won her first PWBA title, the PWBA Wichita Open, and in essence became the first Malaysian-born player to win on the PWBA Tour. So some history on Independence Day last week, or this week I should say. That aired on CBS Sports Network. Next week, the Pepsi PWBA Lincoln Open will air Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, July 11th. Be sure to check that out. Set your DVRs if you haven't. That show will feature top seed Lee Jane Sint from Malaysia, who was the runner-up in Wichita, losing to her Team Malaysia teammate, CT Rahman. Tashina Saraus, the amateur from Maryland Eastern Shore, the number 2 seed. So she will make her PWBA TV debut. Liz Johnson, another opportunity at a title. That would be 5 in a row that you'll see Liz on in regards to television. And Kelly Kulick. Kelly with her first win since the relaunch of the Fountain Valley Open. Looking for title number 2 here in 2017. So again, be sure to check that out. Pepsi PWBA Lincoln Open television finals Tuesday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. See Danielle Vandermeer back competing. I believe she in the field last week as well. Nearing the end of game number 1, and Anna Gross continues to perform well. First shot in the 10th frame. She leaves, looks like from my vantage point, a 2-8. There's a 7 with a red circle around it. So I'm going to guess there's a 2-8-10. She was looking at 290 max as she entered the 10th frame. See some what could be high scores again as we near the end of game number 1. Restrepo 2-4-10, open frame in the 10th. Back-to-back opens for Rowe. Missed a single pin in the 9th. She shoots 192 out the gates. Nicole Bauer can strike for 195. Tanya on a double. There is Brandy Stevens. As CDB strikes to our left, she's got a double heading into the 10th frame. No live scoring available this week, Sarah. First of all, hello. Not this week. Actually, let me just double check. I was told no, but that happened to me once before. It was a no, and then it actually was a yes. Also, hello to Peter Potter. Peter, hope all is well. Recover soon, get well soon. Last time you commented a few weeks ago, it was pretty darn hot in Fresno. It's pretty hot here, actually, in Seminole, Florida, in the St. Pete-Clearwater area. Tampa just on the other side of 275. 2-8 there for Kayla Bandy. Brandy Stevens shoots 183. .200 even for Danielle Vandermeer. 218 for Tanya Raumenper. 190 again for Nicole Bauer. Good spare there for Kayla Bandy. All right, no bowling going on right now. Let's take a look at one of the legends of the sport here momentarily after Kayla Bandy's final shot. Didn't like that one, but did not give any pins away. She shoots 200 even. All right, let's take a look at CDB. This is the end of game 1. Bonus coverage here as we end game 1. 3 bowlers on a pair. All right, 4, 6, 7. CDB in the 230s. All right, 234 for CDB out the gates. Pretty nice start. All right, coming up next here, game number 2. Diana Zavyalova, Karen Boyd, the amateur from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Christina Wendell. Amanda Green, Anna Gross, and Karen Marcano will hit the lanes on 37 and 38. It's a brief delay momentarily. Well, I heard a loud noise, and I wasn't sure what it was. Sounded like it was on the roof, and I was told that it was thunder. Been a couple storms since we've arrived here in the St. Pete-Clearwater area. If you've never been here, which I have not, and so it was my first opportunity to be in the area. Missed last year's event, and so I was looking forward to coming out as we get underway here in game number 2. Crossing over for Christina, she leaves the 1-3-9. But fly into Tampa, as many of you probably know, and if you want to get to the St. Pete Clearwater area, you take 275 south. At least that's the way I took. There could have been another way, I'm not sure. But I don't think so, because there's a nice stretch of 275 south, or 275 in general, that you must hit to, I believe, to travel to and from Tampa to St. Pete and back. It's Zavyalova, big force to open up game number 2. It was a little rainy. That actually just beat the storm. One second. All right, folks, sorry about that. Make sure everyone knew what was going on. Back to my brief story about Tampa and getting to the area. It was a little rainy. We had just beat the storm on my flight in from Chicago. But, of course, didn't help those who had checked bags. There was a delay in that, of course. There was lightning in the area. Of course, you can't have ramp agents and such out there in that type of danger. And so there was a delay. So I just kind of waited out, too. I didn't have to. I did not check a bag, had my carry-on. But it was one of those things where you just kind of waited out, not too sure how severe the storms are here normally. They could be relatively severe, I imagine, or not. Some things may just be kind of commonplace, typical. But when you don't know the area, you know, you just kind of wait and see what happens. So I just hung out, stepped outside, a little humid. I don't think I've been to Florida, honestly, in maybe 11 years. The last time I was in the state was Junior Gold in Fort Lauderdale. That was in 2006. The couple things I remember about Fort Lauderdale and Florida in general was the humidity. And you can kind of count on a storm, or at least some form of rain, a shower, at about sometime in the afternoon, generally every day. One sec. All right. 5 and 36 can now continue on. And Christina made the spare. She'll take it. And a 4-pin for Karen Boyd. Apologize for the ins and outs there. I think I tried to tell that story about the getting to St. Pete from Tampa like 6 times, but I wanted to make sure we got the right leaves and such that were left here to reset things. And Zavyalova back on it with a strike in the second frame. Hello, Margaret from Atlanta. I wonder how far we are from the good old ATL. Hello to Brian. What's up, my man? Watching from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Brian, I think that's what I was getting into. I wasn't sure or didn't know if it had an exact name, but you called it a causeway, so we'll go with that. But I thought it was pretty cool. I'm sure it's cooler when it's not raining, but you know, I'm looking at it from that tourist perspective. So anything like that, I don't think I've seen or have driven across. Maybe in Fort Lauderdale, I feel like there was something like that, but I don't recall. It was so long ago. But I mean, to be surrounded by water for a few miles, I thought it was pretty cool. I can only imagine what it looks like on a sunny day with no clouds in the sky. You got the windows down if it's not too warm, especially if you're rolling in some type of convertible. I mean, that sounds like the life. Got on your nice shades. Folks, I don't know if you heard that through the headphones. There was a loud boom. I'm kind of liking this though, right? I'm in some elements that, you know, there's a lot of unknown. There's a storm coming. Last week there was a power outage right after Game 5 of match play prior to the position round. The brief delay there. I would say that happened around a good time, so to speak. Although you don't want to have the player sitting too long, especially for position round, lots on the line. Nothing you can do about it, obviously, when the power goes out. Here we're just underway with game number 2. Nonetheless, I think Tampa, St. Pete, and the Clearwater area have a lot to offer. Appreciate them. A lot of support from Visit St. Petersburg-Clearwater as well. Want to thank them for all of their hospitality. Wow, DZ did not like it. Frustrated, or excuse me, not frustrated. Surprised is the word I'm actually looking for there. More shocked that that ball actually hooked. There's some friction, certainly. If you look at the graph, and I'm not, I've never been even in college. I mean, I spent so much time trying to figure out and understand how to read a graph properly. So there's the most I get and understand the shape portion of it. But when you talk about where the loads are, what board, etc., that's where it gets a little fuzzy. But I look at the graph and I get an idea of where to play immediately. And most players, I think, will be playing. And after talking with some players and a couple reps, the outside portion of the lane will be in use very often, especially as right-handers go. Didn't see too many people playing where Karen Boyd is playing. She is just a little bit left, of course, of 5. And from what people have said, that could be kind of that danger zone where if you get it too quick, you might be looking at the 1-2-4-10 a lot this week. But her ball speed is what seems to be very good, matches up for that type of, or where she's going to play. So if other players would like to play there, keep an eye on that, on how fast or slow their ball speed could be. Every week, of course, the players learn something. I learned something. I try to pass that along to the viewers as well. Oh, nice late kick on the 10. So after the big 4 from Diana, and then the small delay to reset. DZ saying that is for you, Mom. Hello to Mrs. Z. Mrs. Zavjalova, if you are watching. 4 in a row now for DZ3. Christina Wendell, same thing. 1-3-9, small delay. Now 3 in a row. That left lane so far unkind for Christina, only in the sense that she stuck a little bit on the first shot. (37 and 38). Garen Marcano, 5 out of 6. Now with 3 in a row, Amanda Green. Lone open in the second. She's working on a double. Take a look at the leaderboard. Here momentarily. Peters, it's still hot there, huh? Extreme heat advisory through Sunday. Supposed to top out at 109 plus. Wow. That's warm, sir. No doubt about that. I don't think I could do it. I'd be indoors. I am not a heat person by any means. Of course, I grew up in Chicago, where there might be a myth out there that it doesn't get hot. Great shot there from DZ. That it doesn't get hot in Chicago, but it does. But you catch Chicago on a wrong July and August, in the Midwest in general, even sometimes June. But if you catch Chicago on the wrong day, you'd be looking at some 107s and 108s as well, with some not so cool humidity. So it gets a little rough. We get about every extreme in Chicago and the Midwest in general. But when the extremes are not, it's generally very pleasant. You can't beat a summer in Chicago. I'm very biased, but you can't beat it. Nice trip on the 9 for Karen Boyd. She'll take it. Strikes in the 6th frame. A Green for 3 in a row. one a touch right. Probably got it out to, from my angle, tough to say. One looked like it might have been the half. I think that shot kind of gives you an idea, pretty good idea of what the pattern will give you. Generally, of course, in general terms, you miss right. Out here on tour. Probably going to leave some type of washout, split, etc. One more. 6 in a row for DZ. Always a pleasure to talk with PWBA Tour and Extra Frame fans. Just met Sal Budavicoli. Man, I say has the best last name in the business. I met him live right here. He's watching on the bleachers here in Seminole, at Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida. Saw a lot of players this week. Many had the opportunity and took advantage, of course, to remain in Florida. Whether it be Orlando, checking out Universal Studios, or Disney World. Stayed around. Some made the journey in early to the Tampa area, St. Pete-Clearwater, to be all around the great beaches here. When players get an opportunity, they will certainly try to take advantage. California was similar in that regard. We kind of started in the San Francisco area. Then to Sacramento, so still in the Northern California region, before heading south to Fountain Valley. But believe it or not, folks, the tour is well, it's almost to an end here. The 10th event next week, Rochester, the U.S. Women's Open, or excuse me, the Lucy. PWBA PBA striking against breast cancer mixed doubles event. As Diana's string comes to an end in the 8th frame. Another split combination with the 2-pin involved for Amanda. Back-to-back splits. Again, check out the pattern if you have not. pwba.com/live. After the Lucy, and then the U.S. Women's Open. And that is actually the final kind of event on the regular season schedule. Of course, after that time, we will tape 4 shows, or excuse me, 3. U.S. Women's Open will be live. We'll tape the Orlando Open right here, St. Pete, Clearwater, and the Rochester shows at Plano Super Bowl in Plano, Texas. And then we will know officially, of course, all 16 players who will move on to Richmond, Virginia. The Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship. The road to Richmond continues on. Well, we have a new invitee. Last week we did, or this week we did. CT Raman winning the Wichita Open. Right now, those with guaranteed spots in the field are Diana Zavyalova by way of winning the 2017 USBC Queens. Rocio Restrepo, she won the Cubica AMF PWBA Sonoma County Open. Heck of a shot there. I think you can get an idea of all you need in regards to where to play the lanes. Talked about it a little bit. We'll hint on it as more viewers stop by and pay us a visit here. Continuing on with the Road to Richmond invitees. Zavyalova, Restrepo, Liz Johnson won the Storm Sacramento Open. Kelly Kulik won the Fountain Valley Open. Of course, Liz also won the Go Bowling Players Championship, but had already solidified her invitation with her first victory. And of course, C.T. Rahman with her Wichita Open victory. So be sure to check things out. Keep an eye on CBS Sports Network. If your DVRs aren't set, please set them. Or of course, be prepared or look forward to watching those as they air. July 11th and then July 18th, the PWBA Greater Detroit Open. Let's take a look at who was leading the way after game number one. It was Diana Zavyalova. She told me last week was a grind for her. I think she didn't shoot a game under 180 and maybe not a game over 220 for 18 games. Out the gates today, she shoots 258, and she had a chance to follow that up with 257 here. A double will put her in the 250s. Camilla Dahmers from Aruba, also a former Weber International warrior, as DZ. First one. And a flat 10. Might see a lot of flat 10s this week. I would anticipate that. Shots like that look pretty darn good. But you just kind of get in some of that oil. Down lane ball just doesn't tip all the way. Good shot there from Wendell. Stephanie Adams from Canada shot 249. Shannon O'Keefe shot 247. Watched her a little bit practice this morning. Figuring some things out, look pretty solid. Ashley Galante from nearby Palm Harbor, Florida, is in fifth. Brianna Cote off to a good start, 243. Spare for Yalova. Lisa Andre, 240. Sabrina Davis, 239. Brooke Bauer, 238. Clara Garano, 235. It's your top 10. So pretty high scoring after game number one. Again, no re-oil for this evening's qualifying round number two. Marcano, 212. Amanda Green, 171. And Anna Gross, a pretty solid first game for Anna. Opened in the 10th. She did shoot 232 game number one. She will finish things. Shoots 180. Wendell shoots 190, 237 for Zavyalova. A chance to get to 2-0 here for Karen Boyd with a double in the 10th. And She leaves a 4-pin. Hello, Eric. Eric watching from Boston. Watching every week. Appreciate that, Eric. On behalf of the entire PWBA Tour, definitely say thank you. I know there are many who watch every week also who won't have an opportunity to drop a comment, so that goes for everyone. Eric, I'm sure as you know, I don't think I've ever met a person from Boston or who lives in Boston who does not root for the Red Sox. So I imagine, of course, as you well know, the Red Sox are in town here in Tampa. I've got some plans to check out the Trop on Sunday afternoon before heading back to DFW. Eric, I could talk to you about baseball if you're a baseball fan, or anybody for that matter. I specifically mentioned Eric because he mentioned that, of course, watching from Boston. And myself, of course, as a lifelong Chicagoan, also a White Sox fan. So I still keep some tabs, a lot of them actually, on the Red Sox, mainly because, or a couple reasons. One, certainly Chris Sale, and two, Mookie Betts. All right. Game 2 has come to an end. While we await our featured pairs to begin, let's check out Kelly Kulick. Nice shot there from Kelly. Kelly Kulick, Missy Klug, and Megan Kelly. We are on to game 3. Couple more shots here of 33 and 34 while we can. Nice shot there from Kelly. Kelly already with 3 in a row. Kelly looking like, it's hard to say that Kelly looks different because that's not necessarily accurate and it could be taken in the wrong context. But she looks, when I say different, means that she looks so much more relaxed. She's still Kelly Kulick. Intense, fiery competitor. Not going to give you an inch. But because of what she dealt with previously, and it's been obviously very, very well documented at this point, ankle injury, mom's passing. After winning her first title, finally kind of getting that monkey out the back, climbing the mountain, since the relaunch. She had been to the championship round 10 times and hadn't come away with a victory yet. That changed in Fountain Valley. And she's already made 3 TV shows here in 2017. I mentioned the win. A shot there from Camilla Dahmers. We'll take you to our featured pairs here momentarily. But Kelly, again, just so much more relaxed. You can just see it. Same intensity, same focus, but it's different. She was searching for the love to bowl again. And I believe she is getting closer and closer to that. And that's very scary. She lost her love and was still one of the best in the world. What's she gonna look like when it's all back to where she wants it? All right, Kelly for 4 in a row. Bang. All right, we'll check back on Kelly here momentarily. Let's take a look at Daria Pajuk from Poland. Dad got her started in bowling. Has been one of her driving forces, continuing to push her. Athletic family. Very cool story. Camilla Dahmers. Mentioned her. Starting off well. And now has started with a strike here in game number 3. Pajuk, she'll take it. So Lena Soto. On 35 and 36. Lena from Tampa. Marcia Klumpkin. Bowling again this week. She is joined by Sarah Minch and Giselle Poss. So formerly of Vanderbilt. Just got done representing Puerto Rico in international competition last week. In fact, I believe it was a Central American Games qualifier. So many of our tour players from countries such as Puerto Rico, Colombia, Mexico, Venezuela, all were competing to make sure they qualify if they had not already in some cases for the Central American Games. The most are back now and here in St. Petersburg-Clearwater. Didn't like that one. You can tell it was left off the hand as Pajuk put the hair in a ponytail. That means it's time to go to work. Time for business. Sorry, I just got a nice tip. Apologize, I wasn't really paying attention to the scores, but whoever that was who alerted Rob Gottschall, they couldn't see the top of the scoreboard. Thank you. Feel free to comment if you see something that's a little off. You say, hey, can't see the score on whatever lane. Just let me know. Drop a comment. Only thing I ask is if you do it in a nice way. Boy, Jim Duckworth, first of all, praying for a speedy recovery for you, sir. Thank you for checking in from Akron. Shout out to LeBron. Hopefully, again, you are recovering well, and if watching bowling accelerates your recovery, please continue to do so, and I'll do the best I can to help you out in that regard. If there's anyone wondering where I'm reading these comments, I was on the PWBA Facebook page. Our live now posts are essentially our chat room, if you will. All right, good shot there from Pyle. Second strike overall. Mila Dahmers. 4 in a row, looking for 5 here. Kelly Kulick split in the 5th frame. So she went front 4, split, and now a double. So she has 6 out of 7. Camilla. And she chops the 10 out. 5 in a row. It's Marcia Klumpkin. Klumpkin cashed last week. Former tour player prior to the hiatus. A very good one as well, and still is a great player here. She comes to join us a few events out of the year from her schedule, of course. Lives in Pleasant View, Utah. Life of USBC Hall of Famer Steve Klumpkin. Going to take care of the 3, 6, 7, 10. We'll get the count. Soto. She takes care of the spare. Payu with some work to do. Sarah Minch, Giselle Poss. Minch clean. Get a look at Kulick. Kelly back on it here. Minch with a 4-pin. Looking for her first double. Camilla Dahmers, she had a couple doubles. How about another? Looking for 6, and that is inside. Looked like a touch in, maybe, and pays the price. Three, 4, 6, 7. Looking around. Not too many strings. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say that we're going to have, let's see, between round one here and the Cashers round tomorrow, I have at least 2 300 games. That's my prediction. Two 300 games minimum. Well, what a shot that was from Giselle Poss. I felt that one back here. My man, Jim. Congrats to you and your wife. Hope to get to that level at some point in regards to years. When it's my turn. Just in a few short months. Hey, Linda. Linda is a day brightener. If I'm having a bad day, not that I was a couple weeks ago, but she dropped a comment. Oh, Matt was with me. I think it was at the Players. And she let me know, or let us know, that she certainly enjoyed us. So thank you, Linda. Jeffrey Chin, hello, sir. Driving up from New Jersey to watch the tournament in Rochester and bowl in the Pro-Am. Well, we appreciate you, Jeffrey. I'll be there. Just look for the cameras, basically. That's the best way to identify where I might be at a particular time. Just look for the cameras. Utilize the time for practice. Actually, even before that in many cases. Sometimes it just doesn't happen depending on what we have to do. Already learning life lessons, folks. Talked about looking forward to many wonderful years of wedding bliss. I said we'll take that step in just a few months, and lo and behold, you know who drops in to tell you exactly how many days it is? Your loving fiance. I don't think it gets much better than that. 58 days, to be exact. Verbatim is what she just told me. No problem, Caitlin. If I had known it was you, I wouldn't even think to Rob. Poss now with 3 in a row. Almer's back on it. 9 spare in the 7th. Kelly Kulick, 9 spare in the 9th. She struck. First shot in the 10th. She's got a 10 pin to work with. And if she takes care of that, she'll be at 235, and that is what it is. 235 for Kelly Kulick. Missy Klug shot 182 on 33 and 34, making Kelly Yet to bowl as Marcia Klumpkin can't get the 10 to fall. Paiute. Good shot and a big double. I saw Jason Thomas grab the camera, and that generally means there's action somewhere. So my prediction will be already off to a great start. We'll wait and see. All right, Soto. Spare in the 9th. She can get into the 2 teens. The double in 9. Well, I haven't seen Camilla bowl in a little bit. Of course, do remember watching her perform at Weber as a part of that great team, those great teams there that she competed on, and with many of the players, of course, she is here with. In fact, crossing with Daria this week. So you don't see players sometimes in a little bit. You kind of forget in regards to what they look like, how they bowl, et cetera, and just that last shot, it was a touch right. But, you know, so much power in her game. That ball able to come back, left at half 10. A 7 was lucky to get out. I tell you, Weber has done a fantastic job. It's said often, I know, but we talk about collegiate programs. We mentioned Nebraska, Wichita State, Vanderbilt, Giselle breaking down a split there in the 10th. College bowling is so advanced, even from the time that I compete. Shot there, 3-bagger for Daria. Players are better to start with. Coaching is better overall. Of course, youth, the future of the sport, certainly. And they're better. They're better players already at 11 and 12 than I was ever even thought about being. And that certainly helps when you get to the collegiate stage. And then, of course, when you get there, various programs and their coaching, or coaches, able to, in many ways and many times, teach, mold, and work with already what you have, like shots like that. I didn't see Daria prior to her going to Weber. I have to imagine that she had a little bit of that naturally already, but you go to a program like Weber, they're able to mold and make you better. Same thing with Camilla Dahmers. I mean, look at that. Giselle Poss. With some youth. Junior Gold Championships coming up. Ball change for Daria, checking things out. You certainly looking to have a lot to look forward to with the PWBA Tour. The ladder continues. Junior Gold, Collegiate, and now to the PWBA Tour. And a 9-pin. Ending game number 3, and after a couple games, 2 complete games already in the books. Savialova at +95, Shannon O'Keefe +84. Brittany Himmelreich shot 279 in game 2. She is third at +81. Giselle Poss also shot 279. She is at a 225 now, looking pretty good here. Tanya Raumemper plus 74, Amanda Fry plus 72. Brittany Smith in 7th at plus 66, Sabrina Davis at plus 64 in 8th, Adisa Andre in 9th at plus 57, and 10th Jen Higgins at plus 55. Haven't seen any lefties as of yet. So it'll be kind of, we'll see them together. We get a lefty on our featured pairs to see how they're electing to play the lanes. I didn't get a chance to see any yesterday during practice as well. So see if we see some major differences in regards to where the lefties are electing to play. Well, right now we've got a break. Game number 4. Who will join us here? Let me tell you. Game 4 will have Jessica Peters, Josie Ernest Barnes, and Leanne Vassbender, the amateur from Winter Park, Florida, in the Orlando area. And on 37 and 38, Pamela Ross, KD Sutphin, and Liz Culkin, who bowled very well last week in Orlando and really just missed the opportunity to make a television appearance. Let's see, 25 and 26 are where some of our players are coming from. See if the old eyes will. Looks like they're in the 10th frame. They should be here momentarily, but while you wait, if you haven't already, you can learn a little bit about how about Danielle McCune? She made TV last week at the Orlando Open. Let's take a look at Danielle from her PWBA player video profile that we did in the off season. And we'll have game 4. Shouldn't be too long on the other side of our profile video. You're watching the 2017 PWBA St. Petersburg-Clearwater Open live right here, Bowl TV on Extra Frame.
I didn't have a ball when I started bowling in high school. I did the tryouts with, I think it was like my mom's old ball or like a lefty ball that was just like plugged and re-drilled. Just, yeah, I wasn't into bowling really then, so that was, I guess, my starting point. I think my favorite right now is my red, white, and blue one. It's one that my sister designed for herself, and I liked it, so I copied it, and then I just recently won in it. And I think I bowled good in it every time I've won it, knock on wood, so far, so. Sushi. There's actually a sushi restaurant in Narita, the airport in Japan, that has salmon don, and that's my hands down favorite. Florida Georgia Line's new album. I love country music, but my playlist, I like all music, so my playlist is out of control. It can go from country to rap to pop to, it has a little bit of everything on there. How long do we have? Very superstitious. I always bowl with the braid in my hair, especially on TV shows or if it's like an important day of the tournament, always the braid. I have other little superstitions that kind of come and go. For a while I did my socks inside out, and my bracelets are, I always have them on in like certain positions, especially when everything's going well, you don't change a thing. I have no idea. I think anything animated, so that would be hard to say to pick I think that's why I'm having a hard time picking an actress or an actor. Like I'd like Bugs Bunny to play me. Definitely my grandma. My grandma's definitely my personal hero. She was diagnosed with cancer a long time ago at this point, but when I was kind of younger, and it got really bad to the point where she wasn't expected to make it through it, and she's still around today. She's still bowling. She comes and watches me bowl. So the fact that, you know, she could be strong enough to fight through that is really inspiring.
All right, folks, game 4 is underway. On our featured pairs, Pamela Ross, again, Katie Sutphin, and Liz Culkin on 37 and 38. Jessica Peters, Josie Ernest Barnes, or of course Josie Barnes. Barnes on the back of the jersey. Ernest Barnes on the champions banner. Folks still know who she is in that regard. The hubby is here. Kyle is in the building. Also joining this cross here, Leanna Vassbender. Peters gets us started here on 36. Already a couple frames gone by on 37 and 38. To our left, Brandy Brinka, Kendra Gaines, two-time PWBA Tour titleist. I mentioned she was is the general manager of Boardwalk Bowl. Heck of a job there. Great host, great venue last week. And Heather DeRico, Strike for Chelsea. 3-6-10 here for Liz Culkin. Mentioned the week Liz Culkin had. Started out last week in Orlando. And plus 70. And block number 1. Turned it up a notch, to say the least. Shot 1472 for 6 games. And round number 2 in the evening to lead after qualifying. Remained the leader through match play, and ended up finishing just 23 pins outside of the Group A stepladder positioning. Unfortunately, couldn't win a match. She went 0-6 in match play. That's a situation where I don't think there's any doubt if she wins at least one, she makes the group stepladder at worst, excuse me, and then still has a chance to make TV, as well as she bowled. See that opportunity. Go away, but we're happy for Liz to get back on it. She mentioned in her video recap interview last Friday night, she was really determined after missing the match play cut at the Players Championship, the second major of the season, by a couple of pins. Liz with a lot of game, a lot of talent. Went to Nebraska, the champion, first team All-American, holds the all-time USBC record. Highest women's series, or highest series by a woman. 890. Also a PWBA Tour titleist, of course. The Topeka Open to her credit in 2015. Josie Barnes will return to the place where she won her first title. AMF Gates Lanes next year, or excuse me, I just said next week. Next week in Rochester, New York. Get myself another garbage plate. From what I understand, that's an upstate New York thing, or maybe it's just a Rochester thing. Unsure completely, but I know I'm going to get one because they're famous there. Uh-oh, I missed some comments. My bad. Oh, man. All right, let's see what we got. What we got? All right, shout out to Rick. Hello, Rick Jacobson, watching from Des Moines, Iowa. Yes, indeed, home of the Grandview Vikings program. Co-head coaches Melody and Keith Felton have done a great job of getting the program on track. Women made it to nationals this year. That they did. Well, big thanks, Rick, for watching. A couple former Grandview Vikings in the field. Brittany Smith, Sarah Minch. Brittany was the 2015-16 most valuable player, and as voted by the National Collegiate Bowling Coaches Association, as well as the Player of the Year via the International Bowling Media Association as well. Hello, Daniel. Thank you, sir. But you were in good hands last week. My guy Matthew took care of business. He and Aaron Smith are the real A-team. Speaking of those two guys, they sent us a package, returned some items, and they put in a great note. And the note read, was addressed to myself and Jason Thomas. Keep up the great work. Much love, the B team. Which they are not the B team. If any of you guys know those two individuals, there is no B team. Because those guys are the real A team. We work hard on tour, but those guys work even harder. Taking care of business at the Open Championships. Matt going from Vegas to Fountain Valley, Vegas to Green Bay, Vegas to Orlando to assist us. Aaron was at the Queens. And also kind of oversees the Women's Championships as well, as does Matt. So kudos to those guys. But the note was on the back of a photo. Guess who the photo was? I don't want to spoil it if you haven't bowled the Open Championships, but there's a video that plays in the squad room that details some of the rules and things that you should and should not do. Error there for Barnes there, a rare one in the fourth. But the photo is of those two gentlemen. Heck of a video that we put together. Matt outdid himself there. He had to write the script. And it was fun to film. But it's a picture of those two guys. And they're talking about the B team. I don't have any pictures. These guys have got banners that say live streaming on them. I don't have any banners. If you follow me on Twitter, I posted it this morning. It's pretty funny. At EWJR. Nonetheless, Daniel, appreciate it. Daniel watching from Saudi Arabia. Michael, yes, there is a standing sheet, but you found it. Fantastic. We'll go through those standings in just a second. Hello to Rhonda. Rhonda is watching in St. Joseph, Missouri. Hope all is well there. Shout out to the Show Me States. Spent plenty of time and had some good times. Just down the way in St. Charles. Troy, hello, sir. How are you doing from Huntington Beach, California? Probably a good day to go to the beach. Hello, Judy. Watching from the east coast of Florida. I talked to a couple Florida natives. They referred to that same sentiment in regards to what part of what coast they live on in regards to Florida. Instead, he lived on the, or was from the East Coast, but I thought he was talking about the actual East Coast of the country, and no. We're talking about Florida. It's always cool to talk to those who are from the area. You learn a lot. And Liz Culkin, what I believe was a ball change, just buried the rack in the 7th frame. Let's see if that will translate into more strikes. Here is Katie Sutphin. Katie looking for 3 in a row and gets it. Sutphin finished 20th last week in Orlando. Sometimes it's going home is right on time. Katie from Mount Dora. Pamela Ross on 3 in a row. Culkin. And a 10-pin. Mount Dora is about 40 minutes or so from Boardwalk Bowl, for example. In the area for Sutphin. Spent plenty of her days competing at Boardwalk, also as a member of the Central Florida Knights, University of Central Florida. Team All-American. And a spare for Culkin. See if Katie can make it 2 weeks in a row. Together 2 strong outings, build some momentum. You never know what can happen as you continue on here. Not too many events left on the schedule, but more than enough to make an impact. Leanne Vassbender, amateur from Winter Haven, Florida, 5 in a row here. And Sutphin waves it on into the pocket. That got the job done. Peters, good shot. All right, after 3 games, talked about, I played to the Danielle McEwen profile video, and I did not know this was happening, but Danielle shot .299 while you were watching that video. Of course, she was not within our camera range. I believe Jason Thomas got a little video of that. We'll have that for you on our PWBA Facebook page. We should at some point. Nonetheless, Danielle in the lead after 3 games at +132. Shannon O'Keefe is in second at +131. In third, Taylor Boltice at +124. Zavialova, DZ3 +112 in fourth, Brittany Smith. And fifth at +106, Giselle Poss is in sixth at +104. Tanya Raubin-Purr in seventh at +99. Buttigieg Poplar bowling this week. #1 seed last week in Orlando. Staying in the state and bowling, of course, St. Pete. And I believe the rest of the events on the schedule. Well, I'll confirm that for you. Camilla Dahmers is in ninth at +71. Amanda Fry, heck of a job she did on Extra Frame. If you caught some of her analysis and commentary with Matthew last week during match play. At +69, Kelly Kulick is in the 11th at plus 66. Brittany Himmelreich is in 12th at plus 63. Missy Parkin tied for 13th at plus 59. Karen Marcano is in 15th at plus 56. Clara Guerrero is 16th at plus 54. Liz Johnson is plus 53 and 17th. Verity Crawley is in 18th at plus 52. Right now your cut line would be plus 20 and 32nd place. Again, check your scores, pwba.com/live. Again, pwba.com/live, not /. Used to say that all the time when talking about RTMP addresses, so don't want to confuse you. My apologies there. Mentioned we hadn't seen any lefties. I believe Leanne is our first left-hander. That shot was, of course, a little left. It's a little keen in. Taylor Boltice mentioned, of course, shot 290 in Game 3. Few highlights of that game are up on Facebook. Open frame in the 8th for Leanne. Leanne, 18 years old. I think I said Winter Haven earlier. She's actually from Winter Park. Those are two different places. So don't want to disrespect those from Winter Park and Leanne's family. So want to get that correct. .220, Pamela Ross, 170, Liz Culkin. Sutphin looking for 6 in a row. Push. Pretty good shot there from KD. See where Sutphin is in the standings. She is currently 21st at plus 36. A lot of Weber Warriors in the field as well. Tawny Vollmer, former Weber Warrior. Plus 33. She is tied for 22nd. She's in the field this week. Barnes. Searching. Trying to find the right combination at this moment. It could be a situation where you just got to get off the pair with what you have. 10-pin got out of there for Sutphin. And she is in the 240s. You see Step J walking by. Mentioned Stephanie earlier. Well, folks, looks like we've got a little business going on here. Danielle McEwen is on one of those runs potentially that maybe we saw in Wichita. She at the front 8. Peters with a 10 pin. McEwen left a 10 pin as well, so her string stops at 8. So this could be the time where Danielle McEwen is building the momentum. Vaspender. Playing them. I was pretty much up 5 for the most part. For her, it's a little slower ball speed, looks like, so something with a little shine on it. All right, Peters, 163. And Vaspender, very nice 213. Danielle McEwen striking, first shot in the 10th frame. And Josie Barnes here, another 2-8 combination. She left a couple of those. The ball she started throwing on this lane read so early. She's in that in-between phase, if you will. Let's take a quick look over at Danielle McEwen. Get an idea of. You'll enter your screen here. You see the 10 out. Barnes. Let's see if Josie will have to come back to this pair. She will. She will actually start. Or excuse me. She will not. She will start. She will start on the featured pair, though. We'll be on 37 and 38. We'll be beginning round 2 this evening. $279 for McEwen, 182 for Josie, and I'm sure she is happy to be off of this pair. We head to game 5. Joined by Shannon O'Keefe, Desiree Negron, and Amanda Fry. Also Lucy Sandelin, Kayla Pashina, and Missy Parkin on 37 and 38. Lindsay Boomershine last year's runner-up at this event. She started with a double on 39 and 40. She is joined by Stephanie Adams, a young amateur from Canada, and Stephanie Johnson. All right, Lucy Sandelin. Again, Lucy Sandelin, Missy Parkin, Kayla Pashina. Lucy won the 2017 USBC Senior Queens. Our Team USA member. All right, officially underway. Both of our featured pairs here. Game number 5, round 1. Of course, game 5 of what will be ultimately 12 games. One, 2, 10 for Lucy Sandelin after she begins with a strike. Kayla Pashina. Here's formerly Kayla Schramm. She went to Nebraska as well. Missy Parkin. Bowling with Baby Parkin. At one point, she'll be able to tell their child, of course her husband Drew, that she bowled on the PWBA Tour while he or she was in the womb. How about that? Again, Shannon O'Keefe, Desiree Negron, and Amanda Fry. There is O'Keefe. Watched her practice session this morning. Throwing pins and nothing hits the tin. Well, something did it, because it wobbled, but it didn't go down. But this morning, she had a couple of options, it looked like. Here is Desiree, another former Weber Warrior, the 2016 ITC winning squad. Couple bids on PWBA Facebook page. Mentioned Taylor Boltice is $290, and the final shot for Danielle McEwen's 300 attempt. To our left, Taylor Boltice, Tony Valmer, and Clara Guerrero. So it's a little bit of a Weber reunion here this weekend. Amanda Fry, after going a few games without any lefties, we go 2 games, same pair, back-to-back lefties. We'll see how Amanda Fry is playing them. Already, she looks to be a little further left than where we saw Leanne Fassbender, but some differences in regards to ball speed and ball selection as well. Plays a little bit of role in that. A little bit outside there for Shannon O'Keefe. She would take that term in more ways than the one as a former softball player, and a great one at that. Good shot there, first strike for Desiree Negron. Game 5, one more. For round 1 will come to an end. 82 bowlers in the field this week. If you're just joining us, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Appreciate you tuning in. Wonderful St. Petersburg-Clearwater Bowling Center is located in Seminole, Florida. It is in the St. Pete Clearwater, of course, area. Just across the way is Tampa. Good shot there from Amanda Fry. Amanda throwing something with a little more surface on it, as opposed to Leanne, who was the previous lefty on this pair. I want to say hello to Sorry. Want to say hello to USBC and PWBA Hall of Famer Fran Deacon. Fran, appreciate the kind words. Generally, when I say we're talking A team, B team with each other, that's just kind of our joke that we say amongst each other. But thank you for your great words. But I'm a guy who, you know, I just kind of do what I do. Sometimes you do have to know that you bring a lot to the table. People actually do tell me that sometimes you can be too humble. That is a thing. But I'm just happy to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm happy that people enjoy it. That's really what I want to do. Some good comments today in our Live Now post. Of course, we got started at noon Eastern. Fry. All right, the talented southpaw from Vanderbilt. Oh, with 3 in a row. We had some great comments. We talked about the area, St. Pete, Clearwater, Tampa. Talk about the road to get there, or to get here, I should say, on 275 South. Surrounded by water. That covers, I believe it's Old Tampa Bay, if Google Maps is not playing a trick on me. Oh man, I think I like this area. Probably was just the 275 South thing that really got me. Like, man, that's really cool. I'm about to check it out again. Come up with some another way to visit. Maybe when I'm not bowling or watching bowling. Jim, if you're still listening, those are that's some good advice. Maybe you ought to open up shop, man. I feel like everyone could use that. Those words. Shannon O'Keefe. Open in the 4th. Leaving the split 9 spare. Missy. Good shot there from Missy Parkin. First strike of the day for Missy. I know that makes my man Troy Fisher happy. Missy coaching Troy Fisher. Out in SoCal, another good shot there from Amanda Fry. Well, if you were with me earlier, as we begun the broadcast, I mentioned I talked to a few folks and players and some reps. And some were expecting very high scores. Some were expecting not having to move, and boy. Now an 8 or 7-10, excuse me. Shannon O'Keefe. Looks like she may have made a ball change there. A shot from Pashina. She doubles. And he didn't think they'd The players may move too much. Lindsey Boomershine doing a lot of what she's been doing, and that is striking. Very impressed by what Lindsey has done so far here in 2017 in really limited action. She too, a new mom. I mentioned Stephanie coming back and doing great things last week. Lindsey gave birth to her son Aiden along with husband Hank Boomershine. Hold a couple of events early. Took a break to relax, recoup. Came back to Queens and just lit it up. Made match play. Led for many of the rounds. To a point about Boomershine as she finishes with 258 on 39 and 40. Didn't bowl after the Queens until the Players Championship, and then led that event for a couple days as well, ultimately making the TV show and finishing in third. So some really, really good bowling from Boomershine here. And very limited action. Again, very familiar with the center here. For those of you who may be wondering, I mentioned this earlier, but there is no live scoring this week. Double checked it earlier and gave it one more triple check. Just in case. When people ask, you just want to triple check it again. Boomershine was the #1 seed last year at this event. And ultimately losing to Rocio Restrepo and the TV finals. Amanda Fry, 247. Let's take a look at round 1 scores here after 4 games. Mentioned Danielle McEwen, 299 in game 3, followed it with 279. She leads the way, plus 211, excuse me. Giselle Poss, having herself a day as well. 200, 279, 225, 269. For Giselle at plus 173. Shannon O'Keefe is in third. Going through some struggles here in game 5 on 35 and 36, trying to find the right combination. Her good friend, Stephanie Johnson, in fourth at plus 146. Stephanie coming off a 277 game. You'll hear that a lot, I think, this week. Coming off a 260 plus, 277 plus. Don't forget my prediction. Minimum of 2 300s through the Cashers round tomorrow. Good shot there from O'Keefe. Camilla Dahmer's back in 5th. She shot 267 in game 4. Plus 138. Brittany Smith in 6th at plus 132. She shot 226. Good shot from Sandelin in the 9th frame. Rocio Restrepo. She's coming off a 268 game, shot 286 before that in game 3. Now out to plus 127. Wow. Rocio went 192, 181, 286, 268. I'm going to play that score in the lottery. That got you straight and your box. Diana Zavjalova, 258, 237, 217, 207, plus 119. In 8th place, Brittany Himmelreich at plus 102. So far, so good here in round number 1 for Brittany. And Amanda Fry, who we are watching right now, in 10th at plus 91. 7-pin there for Amanda Fry. There's Samantha Linder, former Wichita State Shocker. This Florida area. Missy Parkin, big double. Right now, Christina Wendell is 32nd at plus 29. High flush for O'Keefe. Sheena, 7-pin. Sandlin, 4-pin. Thanks to Lucy Sandlin. Brought a gift for me this week. A nice thermal type mug cup. That goes well in the morning. That will get some use for sure. Grown. She's only struck twice. Both times have been on the right lane. But a double could get her in the 2-0s, or would get her in the 2-0s. Leanne Holsenberg, very good story. Read about her this week. Building some momentum. 6th place finishes recently. I want to say Detroit, and definitely the players, both very well there. And if not for, there was one block where she simply just couldn't win a match. If she wins 1 or 2 of those, she definitely would have made TV. I don't think there's any question about it. O'Keefe, bang. See the competitor come out here from Shannon. A nice game from Pashina, 227. Well, this game 5 is just rolled right along. Amanda Fry lost the juice a little bit here in these last 3 frames. Missy Parkin with 3 in a row. Make it 4 for Parkin. And she's in the 220s. Negron can't figure out that left lane. Nice job from Shannon O'Keefe. Back 6 for 209. And not to be undone there. Did not allow the couple of splits to get in the way. Open in the 10th. Chopping the spare. Taking the 6th off the 10. And Amanda Fry will finish things out. 225 for Missy Parkin. 186 for Lucy Sandelin. Kayla Pashina, 227. Clara Guerrero. Quietly shooting 256. Tawny Vollmer in that pair shooting 257 as well. Nicely done. Wow. I just saw the extra frame replay from my vantage point. I thought Desiree had chopped the 6, but it came back off the back curtain there and clipped the 10. Well, bowling can be tricky like that, huh? All right, we'll get Leanne Holstenberg's final shot here at 279. That is Tiffany Crosby, who you see there. And of course, several players trying to make their move. All right, Leanne Holstenberg, 279. USBC Hall of Famer. All everything on the PWBA Tour. At one point, I won't say she was the tour, but she was in that dominating sense where things kind of ran through her. If you wanted to win a title, you had to go through Leanne Barrett at the time. Of course, all of you historians and bowling enthusiasts certainly know all about Leanne in that regard. If you don't, the good news is there's a nice story about her on PWBA.com. But 27 titles total, 27 professional titles. Her last one coming at the 2011 U.S. Women's Open, which was then Cowboy Stadium, now of course AT&T Stadium. Game 6, we will have Summer Jasmine Amanda Flood, and someone who, we talk about if you want to win a title, you have to go through. That person right now is Liz Johnson on the relaunch tour. On 37 and 38, we will be joined by Crystal Schoenemann, Brittany Himmelreich, and Ashley Galante. Want to thank all of our sponsors on the PWBA Tour: Smithfield Foods, along with Pepsi, GoBowling.com, Nationwide, Cubica AMF, of our Product registered companies, apparel, accessories, bowling balls, and everything in between. Appreciate all of you. Game 6, final game of round number 1 is underway. We are live from Seminole Lanes. Spot went through a little remodel after last year's event, and they are still adding. Some things as well, so pretty cool venue. Again, big thanks to the Kraus family. Very good area to hang out in. All right, a few frames in to game 6. After this game, we'll take a break, grab a little lunch, and we'll come back and do this thing over again. That's 6 more games this evening, although, as we've had a few times this season, no burn squad, or excuse me, no re-oil, which means there is a burn squad. Well, no re-oil, less work for my guy Eric Pearson to do. Always good to see Eric. I've seen him actually for last few weeks. Actually, he was at the Players, which is in Green Bay. Of course, he is a Wisconsin native. I believe he'll be in attendance next week, I think. But big thanks to Kegel as well. All right, 5-game update. Scores are coming in pretty quickly. Be sure to check yours at pwba.com/live. Our Game 5 update brought to you by Smithfield. Danielle McEwen in first at plus 199. She shot 188 in game number 5, enough to still hold the lead, however. Stephanie Johnson into second. She is at plus 182. Giselle Poss is in third at plus 171. Shannon O'Keefe is in fourth at plus 165. Brittany Smith in 5th place from Johnston, Iowa, plus 164. Diana Zavyalova in 6th at plus 144. Of course, DZ from Latvia. Clara Guerrero, last 3 games, 232, 233, 256. Plus 143 in 7th. Rocio Restrepo is in 8th at plus 138. Camilla Dahmers remained in the top 10, I think, throughout the first 5 games here. Plus 123. Taylor Boltice. She is in 10th at plus 108. Tanya Raubemper in 11th at plus 107. Amanda Fry is 12th at plus 102. Tawny Vollmer in 13th at plus 101. (13 players in triple digits. Overall, 45 players are plus. And right now, 32nd place is plus 40. I get a chance to get the old extended lunch break today. Might be done prior to 3 o'clock. Ashley Galante. Again, no stranger to the area, of course, from nearby Palm Harbor, Florida. Pretty decent looking shot there from Amanda Flood. Cannot carry the 10. See a couple of strings. Tawny Vollmer has the front 5. Taylor Boltice now with the spare 5-bagger. That is after 6 frames. As Johnson takes care of the spare, Leanne Hulsenberg right back to business on 39 and 40. Good spare there from Amanda Flood. Vollmer. And a 10-pin there for Tawny. She is on 41 at 42. Udiget had the front 4 split. High flush for Rocio Restrepo to our left. Well, Liz Johnson, If you haven't been following the PWBA Tour, Liz Johnson, through 9 events, has qualified for television 7 times. She has won twice. So a couple other notes about Liz at this moment in time. Again, 2 wins, 1 a major. I'll run down the list of TV finals Liz has qualified for. She leaves a 7-pin. Qualified first, finished first, of course, in Sacramento. Qualified third, finished third in Fountain Valley. Qualified first for the Queens and finished second to Diana Zavyalova. Qualified third and finished fourth in Wichita. She was the 3rd seed. And you will find out where she finishes next Tuesday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network for the Pepsi PWBA Lincoln Open. Qualified 4th and won the Go Bowling PWBA Players Championship. And of course, last week qualified 3rd. For the Orlando Open. And we haven't even gotten to the event that she really likes, which is the U.S. Women's Open. 7 TV appearances. Next closest player to her in that category is Kelly Kulick with 3. If she were to win the Player of the Year in 2017, she would be the first player to win the award in 3 consecutive years. Wendy McPherson actually won the award 4 times. She's actually the only player to win it back-to-back twice. Wendy, Leanne, Liz have won it back-to-back. In fact, Wendy's good friend, Carol Giannotti, essentially stopped a streak, what would have been 5 in a row in regards to Player of the Year awards for Wendy McPherson. Good shot there from Liz Johnson. Back to Liz here with their victory at the Players. 21 professional titles total, 9 career majors. Just remarkable what, not only what she has done, but everything that Liz is doing. As Flood gets a break there, a big double. Really is in present tense. This is since the relaunch. This is since 2015. Not all of it, obviously. But the success, I mean, uncanny what she's doing. I didn't think it would be, of course it's possible, but on a tour that is uberly talented. Uberly talented. You could have like one player kind of put their mark and their imprint on a season. She kind of started out like that in 2015. She won Player of the Year, but it's pretty close. Rocio Restrepo would have needed to defeat Liz at last year's Players Championship, or excuse me, Tour Championship, sponsored by Smithfield in Richmond. Or as Randy Peterson would say, the high hard one. Big double there for Liz Johnson. This week, just on the first 6 games, is shaping up to be very interesting. Very nice shot there from Amanda Flood. Really first person we've kind of seen, it is game 6, however, so we'll keep that in mind as I make this point. But really first player we've seen kind of go left to right and kind of throw directly at, 1-2 the half board. There's some friction out there. Players have been playing out there the entire time. Galante didn't hear it off her hand at all, but not the result that she was looking for. Here is Lizzie J. One more. Let's see where Liz Johnson is currently in the standings. Liz is 21st right now at plus 70, plus 70, plus 70. Oh, Schoenemann with the big 4 in the 9th. Flood. And a big 4. And tell if that one was in a tad. It certainly was in comparison to her previous shot on the right lane. So, if she did indeed miss on the right lane, well, she knows she's got some miss room. And she looks forward to round number 2. Again, no re-oil. So we'll take a look at what takes place in game 6, 7. Have to be some minimum moves at least. Summer Jasmine ball has the look of urethane. She's got 3 in a row. Well, Schoenemann gave it a run, didn't she? And Bob in attendance here. Brittany Himmelreich. We talked about Brittany and having a fine day. Right now an 18th at plus 91. And looking to add to that total. 6 in a row for Himmelreich. 10th frame here for Liz Johnson. Well, Liz gets the good carry, but that's like a patented Liz Johnson carry strike. If she's got that working for, and of course, when she, besides the 10 back shots that she will have, if she can get that hit to carry, it's gonna be a good day. Watching Liz do her work at the Players Championship. Wasn't near the top of the standings, but as each round goes by, you see her continue to move up the leaderboard. Next thing you know, all she needs to be is in match play. If she's within striking distance with a few games left in match play, you definitely want to put your money on her. She's got pretty good odds in that regard. Put another one down for the Queen right now. 5 in a row for Liz Johnson. Himmelreich. It gets 7. Well, to this point, Detroit really had been the highest scoring event on the schedule so far. Players have seen A variety of lane conditions. From 40 feet flat, 1-to-1, for example, to what we are looking at now. 8 in a row for Brittany Himmelreich. Nice job for Liz Johnson, 244. Restrepo. Rocio shoots 235 to our left. Before Liz Johnson goes, I'm going to try to get her to drop a hello. I missed Chris Bardall's comment. What's up, Chris? He heard me mention garbage plates. He's from the area. I heard you've got a restaurant, sir. That must be the one that you dropped there. I'll be sure to check it out. I'm that guy. Just let me know where the restaurant is. I'm there. Nice job from Brittany Himmelreich. 257. In regards to the lane conditions. See if I can do a quick compare and contrast here from Detroit. Just look at round one. Sometimes that's not a good comparison. You need to know what took place in round two. For example, Daria Payuk shot 300. 12th game of qualifying in Detroit. But after round number one, Verity Crawley was leading at plus 182. Excuse me, 32nd was plus 24. So it'll be a little bit before we know the standings here, of course, after round number one. Might be a few pins higher. So we could still be on the same scoring pace, but again, we won't know for sure. We'll have a better understanding of that after tonight's round. Summer Jasmine shoots 202. Amanda Flood 187. Galante finishes with 208. Shonem in a 161. Leanne Holstenberg, well, after building some momentum there. Double, 9-spare, 9-spare, double. And then 4 consecutive splits to end things on 39 and 40. She shoots 171. Perfect. That's Liz Johnson, who was saying hello to all of you viewers. Really? Liz Johnson dropping some knowledge, saying that she doesn't bowl well on live stream pairs. A couple weeks ago, she averaged 150. Actually, I do remember one of those. Now that I think about it, she did average or shoot at least 154 in one game. Well, folks, I look to my left. I see, well, let's see. Looks like 2 pairs within range. We'll go there just to give you something. To my right, there is nothing going on. There's Carolyn Dorn-Ballard. CDB on 3 in a row. She's got 121, I believe, in the 6th frame. Looks like she got the 10 out there. So CDB will be the lasting shot. That's Anna Gross. Looks like she's got one more shot to go. Field shot for Anna. In game 6 to 12, final one. And Carolyn Dorn-Ballard will put a cap on round number 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes round 1 of the PWBA
Here is Tournament Director Tennille Milligan.
Open. The ladies will return tonight at 6 p.m. for 6 more games of qualifying. Athletes, please add up your score sheets and turn them into the tournament office as quickly as you can. And thank you all for coming this afternoon, and we hope to see you tonight for the next round of qualifying of the PWBA St. Petersburg-Clearwater Open.
All right, pretty good round 1, I'd say. Appreciate everyone joining us on Extra Frame. Our Facebook Live Now post was on and popping, as the kids like to say. It was crowded there, so let's do that again this evening if you can. I know many of you at work, at home, whatever it is, stop on by. We'll begin things at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for round number 2. Until then, for Tennille Milligan, Jason Thomas, Kathy Kavicki, and Kathy Watka, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Big thanks to the Seminole Lanes staff here. You're watching the 2017 PWBA St. Petersburg-Clearwater Open. Check your results on pwba.com/live. We'll be back with you 6 p.m. Eastern for round number 2. Until then, stay safe, have a great day, and then I'll see you in a few hours. We'll talk to you soon. It's Bowl TV on Extra Frame.